I'm doing what I feel will be kind of a controversial pick for you guys, but it did get 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. And the reason I watched this film is because Arnold Schwarzenegger has that 3-part docuseries on Netflix. And so I was like, he mentions how Last Action Hero basically almost ended his movie career. And I said, okay, was it really that bad? And so I went back and I watched The Last Action Hero for your good, bad movie review. Now, I can understand why people don't like it because it's such a tongue in cheek, cheesy movie, and that's not what Arnold Schwarzenegger was all about back when he was the superstar before he became governor of California. But Last Action Hero is essentially about a kid. He gets a magic ticket. He goes to see a sequel to his favorite action movie franchise. The ticket is magical, and it sucks him into the film where he then has to partner up with the Arnold Schwarzenegger character in the movie. And it hits all of the cliches that made the late 80s, early 90s action films. And why I believe that The Last Action Hero is a good, bad movie is it's the film that exposed the action series for what they were. They were cookie cutter cutouts, and all you had to do was plug in place. You need a punchline. You need a catchphrase. You need this big explosion. The guns never run out of bullets. They exposed all of this stuff. Last Action Hero is the most meta action film of all time, and if it was not for The Last Action Hero, we would not have propelled ourselves into the movie genre that followed, where you couldn't bullshit the audience anymore. It exposed action movies for what they were, which makes Last Action Hero one of the greatest bad movies of all time.
I okay. I understand what you're saying. I do think that there was a little bit of an area of gray because The Rock came out about a year and a half after this, and there was still some carryover of what you're talking about. But I understand. I do agree to a certain extent. Now, I didn't watch it in its entirety, but I watched about 30 YouTube clips. So I feel like I piecemealed it together. And first of all, the ticket, it was from Harry Houdini, if you forgot about that. And the kid is is it his uncle or just an old guy who owns a movie theater that allows the kid to go in for free?
I, I think it's a pedophile, if I'm not mistaken. That just
Yeah.
whimsically
Right.
like you're my best friend, young man. Let's go into this darkly lit room together and watch films. But no
Put
one
some
can
extra-
see or hear.
Put some extra butter on that popcorn. Get your fingers all wheeled up. Uh, one of my favorite scenes from this, and this is kind of how I'm going to go about this because I remember the plot, and you're absolutely right. It was littered with him saying like, "I'll be back," or yeah, have a nice day. Just it's like the cliche lines over and over again. But they're at the. It's not a blockbuster, but it's a movie, like a movie rental place. And of course, then he sees this hot girl, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're a movie star." He's like, "Absolutely, I was in a romantic movie, and it starred you." And then he started asking for phone numbers, and she says, "It's like it's 555." He's like, "Everyone's phone number starts with 555," and he's like, "Yeah." How many people live in Los Angeles? About 8.5 million. It's like there's only 9,999 numbers. How did that work? He's like, "That's why we have area codes." It's like, oh. It's just trying to convince him that he's in a movie, and he still doesn't realize it.
Well, and then it's also got the cliche like bad guy who's really like well spoken, but he's got the fake eye. It's like, and then when he comes out of the movie and he's in the real world, Arnold realizes you can't just punch through glass windows of cars. Guns run out of bullets. It exposed all those things that the movie industry thought you were too dumb to realize, which for me is what makes Last Action Hero a great movie. Because the next movie that Arnold made after his governorship was True Lies, which is one of the greatest action movies of all time, and it doesn't bullshit the audience.
That's fair. I did not know that. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I personally love this movie. I don't even think it's a bad. I mean, it is a terrible movie. Let me stop. But it's good. It's fucking. I love it. I used to love it growing up. Also, you forgot the cliche fucking angry black captain Yells at fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Where he eventually just starts speaking gibberish. And then water's just flowing down his forehead.
Smoke coming out of his ears.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, what's just gonna happen to me? Yeah. Or when he goes back to his apartment and shoots into his closet and says like a bad guy. He's like, "How'd you know?" He's like, "There's always a bad guy in
There's
there."
always one there.
And he opens it up just to a bunch of the same snakeskin boots and fucking guns.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did not get to rewatch The Last Action Hero in the last couple of days because they've taken it off and I wasn't paying for it to watch that again.
Me either.
But yeah, no, I watched it a couple months ago. But I think what happened when I watched it is I kind of had this epiphany that like this is a really, I don't know if it's almost like forced, not forced watching, learned. I don't know what I'm getting at here. It's kind of like if I told you to watch like a Stanley Kubrick movie. You may not enjoy yourself, but you may take away from it something that's more fulfilling. And I think if you watch Last Action Hero for what it is a much more fulfilling movie than just like what meets the eye. If you're just a dumb lunk and you want to be entertained, it might do it for you, but you're not going to like it so much. But if you walk away from it saying like, holy shit, because of this movie, all the movies I've seen since then are just grades better, then you can thank Last Action Hero for that.
It did. You're right. It did kind of put like the Michael Bays in check. You know, like, hey, you can't. An explosion isn't going to propel you 40 miles an hour away from the explosion. Your fucking Cadillac, of all things. You know, you're not going to be able to shoot a dynamite stick that was thrown at you from a car behind you that's traveling at the same speed, you know, like, and then, yeah.
Well, check this yin and yang out. I thought about this when I was thinking about Last Action Hero today, is like the original Die Hard, right? That was just a regular guy in an extraordinary situation, had to fight his way out. So everybody loved that movie because it was real. Then you get to Die Hard 2, where they used every action movie trope that was available to them because now John McClane was an action star. Right. Bruce Willis was an action star. So they applied the same physics and all the other bullshit to that movie. Die Hard 2 is the worst movie of the Die Hard trilogy. Well, they kept going, unfortunately, but
it was once a trilogy.
I will say of the trilogy, the true trilogy,
right.
1 and 3 are the best, and 2 sucks because they tried to apply that format to it. And Last Action Hero kills the format. And Last Action Hero gave us the governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Who also, when he ran into himself in the movie theater of the premiere of the movie that this guy's from, he was like, "You're one of the best. What did he say? You're one of the best body doubles I've ever seen. This is incredible." So good. Then he gets shot at the end, and the kid manages to get him back, and the boss says, "This is a flesh wound."
Oh yeah, because he like gets shot in the heart. He gets him back to the movie theater screen to the magic world. It's like, it's a flesh wound. Get back to work tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
A couple of cameos in this. His daughter is played by Bridget something or other. Sampras. Pete Sampras is, I don't know if it's wife or ex-wife. She was the hot teacher in Billy Madison.
Oh, okay.
Remember his daughter? Yeah, she can do. She's not only a world-class gymnast, but also a marksman with a fucking hand cannon, and is able to shoot off would-be invaders of the house.
I've always said she's got a little bit of a face, but she's got a bit of a body. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, Last Action Hero, folks, check it out. That's a good listen. I was a bit skeptical because 40% to me starts like really.
It's on the line.
It's on the line, but yeah. I'll allow it.
Thank you. It's still got the green splotch.
Yeah, you're right. It does, and it just kind of oozes just early '90s bullshit too.
Yeah. But I guess my point is what I found fascinating about it is it does it on purpose though. It's almost like It's almost like a movie that sabotages itself, and I just think in retrospect it's a better film because of what came of it. It's like we can't make that anymore, so that is why I chose Last Action Hero. And by the way, one of the greatest AC/DC songs ever recorded got buried because that movie did so poorly. Big Gun it has got one of the greatest guitar riffs of all time, thanks to Angus Young and the boys.
And you had said, you asked me, I said good tune. You were asked if I was like joking with you. What'd I say?
Well, because sometimes, because I know, like, look, you guys are more hip hop guys. I'm more of a rock guy. And so, like, I don't know, like, AC/DC songs tend to be very similar to other AC/DC songs. So I wasn't sure if you were being sarcastic.
No.
Like, yeah, good tune.
I feel like before I get to my main trek out to work, when I do drive in, it's like a couple like city streets, and then onto a highway, the BW Parkway, 295. And I stopped to get gas, and I saw you message that, and I put it on right as soon as I got on the highway. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And then it ultimately reminded me of, and this is sidetracking here, but have you ever seen the Jim Brewer bit when he talks about AC/DC doing the hokey pokey?
Yes, absolutely.
Put your left foot in.
You take your right foot out.
You do the hokey pokey.
Take it on a bow.